Thanks so much for your time on this important day.
Thanks.
Gail, Nkosi would have been 30 this year had he survived.
I know, it's unreal.
It's incredible. And you being the person who knows him perhaps better than anyone in the world knew him, looking at where we've come, since his passing there have been great strides in bringing down the numbers of infections, but we are also at still the world's highest infection rate. What do you think he would have said if he was around today about where we are?
Look, I think firstly the strides, as you say, have been phenomenal. But I was just thinking before I came here, you know, so much work and energy and research was put into the prevention of mother-to-child transmission. And it's those children that were saved that are now falling pregnant and testing positive. So why? You know, they were saved. They don't know what went into saving them, obviously, but there's a gap somewhere. And whose responsibility is that gap to educate these children who were saved not to take unnecessary risks? So.
And that gap that you're talking about is the fact that the highest rate of infections is between people the ages of 15 and 24.
Yes.
There's almost 2.5 times more young women being infected than there are young men.
Yeah.
That's incredibly
worrying. It's frightening. I personally think a lot of it is emotional deprivation. You know, kids who have maybe got absent fathers and things like that. So when a blesser comes along, they fall hook, line and sinker, not only necessarily for the material things, but someone wants me.
Absolutely.
And so we don't take the necessary precautions because I'm needed. And that's my personal feeling. I don't know if it's sort of carries any weight. But, you know, just dealing with my children at Nkosi's Haven, the girls, well, boys as well, are emotionally deprived. They long to be a part of a family, and I don't know whether that's part of the problem.
That age group is very much in touch with technology, and so they should have far more access to information than perhaps older generations. Plus they often find themselves in spaces of education, whether they're attending primary or high school or then later tertiary education, yet somehow the message doesn't seem to be getting through to them. Why do you think they're missing it? Are we missing them?
Well, you know, well, just speaking from personal experience, I'm finding children aren't curious enough, or they're not curious enough in the areas they should be. So, for example, my kids that are close to leaving school aren't Googling to see what career choices are available. Would they Google HIV/AIDS? No, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm on medication. So it's not an issue to them. It's an issue to the older generation because they fought the fight. They lost people, lovers, partners, children, left, right and center. But there's not that death sentence anymore, so there isn't the panic and the fear around our younger people.
Okay. On that note of the death sentence, that's quite important because we've made such strides in improving the quality of ARVs that we're administrating. That not only is the quality of life for HIV-positive people much better, and that's a great positive, but also the life expectancy is so much longer. How has that impacted the work that Nkosi's Haven does and the kinds of resources that you need to take care of people for that extended life period?
Well, you know, our funeral budget is now negligible, thank God, because that was the most heartbreaking part of Nkosi's Haven, was the burying of the moms. Fortunately, we didn't lose that many children or babies. But what we're finding, I've almost become like a special needs facility. It's moms who are HIV positive, but moms who've had strokes, so they're physically disabled. There are a couple of psychotic moms that are slightly mentally challenged. There's one mom who's hearing disabled, another mom is going blind. We're trying to get her a corneal transplant and things like that. So, yes, they carry on, and they're brilliantly healthy. And I suppose I'm going to have an old age cottage at Nkosi's Haven soon. Well, one for me anyway. So yes, it's great. But it's also moms who never possibly finish schooling.
Okay.
So it's that kind of mom who needs capacity building, but then there are also special needs. So it's a catch-22. You know, some of my moms and kids have just done a candle making course.
Okay.
So we now need to set up a division to generate income. But it's that level of mom. My kids are doing brilliantly at school, my positive kids and my negative kids. And I've just had one girl graduate in honours, which is, I love it.
Fantastic.
But her mom can't keep up with her from a literacy and educational point of view. So there's those kind of gaps
challenges
as well.
And although the message has shifted from HIV being very much associated with disaster and death and tragedy, the message having shifted to life means that we need to address those challenges differently and perhaps message differently to the younger generation who are not used to living with HIV. Thank you very much for your time, Gail Johnson from Nkosi Johnson. Always nice
Look
to
after
speak to you.
yourself.